Hello! As you know, Elementor is an amazing page builder. It allows non-coder designers like you to build custom design pages exactly as you want them, really visual, drag and drop. But at some point, a lot of designers think to themselves, my theme still handles my header, the logo and navigation area. I wonder if I could use Elementor to build my header as well, my site-wide header. Well, the good news is you can, although there are quite a few considerations to bear in mind. So with that said, let's dig in and I'll show you what's what. Before we start, a good question to ask is whether you can achieve what you want with your theme's header styling options after all. Just because you can often doesn't mean that you should. So for example, GeneratePress's header styling options are really comprehensive, as are Ocean WP's too. Not only that, but you've got specialist features for headers built in like sticky navigation, mobile variants, all kind of layout configurations, mobile responsiveness issues already sorted. So I do recommend using your theme's header functionality if you can. It's built in, it's fast, and all the issues you might run into with headers are all covered. But if you want more design control and flexibility, or you've just got a burning desire to have everything in one place, then let's look at how to create your own custom header in Elementor. By the way, rather than making a ton of notes now, you can grab a simple PDF checklist version of this video from my site at designbuildweb.co/custom header. It's just a one-page downloadable checklist with everything you need to know with regards to making site headers with Elementor, if you just look past the video on that page. So what do we need to consider? Well, firstly, it's ideal for your Elementor header to dynamically pull in the site logo you uploaded to your WordPress customizer, rather than just dragging in an Elementor image widget. This keeps your logo consistent and editable site-wide. Often it's useful to be able to pull in the site title and site description from the customizer too, again, so that they're editable and consistent. Navigation is a big consideration. You usually want to be calling in one of your WordPress menus that you added in appearance menus, rather than manually creating a menu directly in the Elementor template. And there's also the big issue of how the navigation adapts to smaller screens. You want your mobile menu to be handled properly for your navigation to switch to a mobile menu icon. There's the issue of retaining the appropriate code markup for headers and navigation too. And don't worry if you don't understand all the details here, but just to say that your theme, if it's well coded, will use HTML5 markup for header and nav, and there'll be schema markup too. And that just helps search engines understand the role of the different elements of your header. And your theme should also include some accessibility related markup too, especially with regards to your mobile menu button and how it relates to the actual nav menu. So when creating a header with Elementor, whatever solutions we choose, we ideally need to retain as much of this markup as possible. And of course, as I've already mentioned, there are features like sticky navigation on scrolling, mobile variations, etc. that are likely already part of your theme's header options, but can be very tricky indeed to achieve with Elementor alone. We just need to bear these things in mind, or at least be aware of any trade-offs. So we'll first make the header in Elementor, and then we'll add it to the site, replacing our theme's header. Now this will all be achieved with the free version of Elementor and free Elementor add-ons, but depending on the route you go, you may need some paid add-ons for your theme. Now there's no one way to make the header template itself, so I'll show you some of the various options I think you have so you can choose the best one for you. So here's the header we'll be making today, because, well, beer. Yeah, it's pretty simple. And this particular video isn't going to be a comprehensive look at how to build a whole range of complex header layouts. I don't want to get too bogged down with building the header, so we'll just cover the important basics for now. I'll be looking way deeper into how to build different header and menu designs in other training. If you pop yourself on my email list at designbuildweb.co/mybeststuff, I'll keep you updated. Now just a bit of setup. I've already added my logo and site title in the GeneratePress theme customizer here. You can do that in your own themes customizer as well. So we're able to use those in our header template if we need to. I've also got my navigation menu set up in appearance menus. It's much better to use as much default WordPress functionality as possible. So first, we create a new template in Elementor My Library. Let's give the template a name. I'm going to select the Elementor Canvas template because we want a blank template here. Publish, just to save the settings, and then I'll click Edit with Elementor. Right, we first add a new section here, and this section will contain the entire header. I'm going to make this a nested section though, by dragging the columns widget onto this area here. Now this will just give us more flexibility with our column layout, so we can have 3 columns and 1 column underneath for the menu. Check out my other video about creating more complex layouts. I'll pop a link in the description. And we'll just click here to add another column, so we've got 3. I'll add a dark brown section background colour. Now because I'll want this to overlay over the top of content on the page, which I'll explain later, I'm going to choose the background overlay here. And I'll choose the dark brown colour on the overlay, but I'll change the opacity just so that anything underneath the header will shine through. For the phone number and email addresses with the icons, for speed here, I'm going to use the icon list widget. So we'll drag that into place. I'll add in the phone number. I'll choose a phone icon. And the way to make this phone number clickable, which is important on mobile, is to set the link here as tel : and then your number with your country dialing code and without any spaces. And also add the email address. And to create a link to an email address, you put mail to : before the email address in the link field here. And then just for now, I'm going to drag in another image widget for the logo image. I'll replace that shortly with something more dynamic, as I mentioned. But I'll choose the logo image itself. And also finally, the social icons widget. Now for speed in this video, and just in the interest of keeping things moving along, I'm not going to show you every bit of the styling of these two widgets, the social icons and the icon list. I'm just going to align the social icons left, I'll align the icon list over to the right, and I'm just going to adjust some of the colours as well in the style tabs for each of those widgets. So I'll fast forward this bit now so we can move on to the navigation menu. Now to add the menu underneath. Now one really nice way of handling this is to use the Nav Menu add-on plugin. Next I'll show you a couple of other ways too, but this is really nice. So once you've installed the Nav Menu add-on plugin, you can see here that we've now got widgets available for site branding, which is the logo or your site title, a default navigation menu, a basic mega menu, a full screen menu overlay and a search box. I'll firstly just delete the image widget that I added temporarily. I just wanted you just to see that logo in place. I'll drag in a branding widget from the Nav Menu add-on plugin, choose the logo and just make sure that's centered. We now need to drag the nav menu underneath the 3 columns. So the nav menu itself is going to span 1 full width column underneath the 3 columns. And if you remember, I created a nested section earlier on. So all I'm going to do to create that 1 column is drag another columns widget underneath the 3 columns we've got here. And then just delete one of the 2 columns that you get by default with the columns widget, which leaves us with 1 column. And then once that's in place, I can now drag the default nav menu widget into that column. So in the settings here, I'll select the menu I already created in the menus area under appearance earlier. I'll center it. In style, I'll make the nav bar background transparent, and I'll do the same with the background of each menu item too. Now these link color and background color settings refer to the hover state of the links, although that's not actually clear here. But I'll set the hover color to be the light brown in the logo. And in typography, let's go with a font size of 17, font weight 600, and we'll go uppercase. Now one good thing about the Nav Menu add-on plugin is that it uses the correct HTML5 nav markup and schema markup I mentioned, and it automatically creates a mobile menu icon for you, although you can't actually see that in Elementor's mobile preview mode. You've got to check that out on the real page. But let's quickly check that on tablet. Okay, I'll come back here to the Content tab and I'll make the mobile toggle and the mobile item alignment centered. And while I'm here, in the Style tab, I'll also set the colours for the mobile menu icon because I know what I want with that. Now remember, we can't see the actual mobile icon in the Elementor preview. Okay, then over to mobile. Right, I'll centre these two widgets on small screen. So to see the mobile menu toggle icon in action, we'll have to click View Page down here to view the live page. And then I can just simulate different screen sizes by dragging the browser window like this. There are tons of other styling options for the Nav Menu add-on plugin, but you can play with those yourself. It's really nicely done. So using the Nav Menu plugin is one way to add your logo and navigation to your template. Another option instead, if you use the OceanWP theme, then you'll have special widgets in your Elementor widgets list for custom logo and custom navigation. And in Generate Press, there's a way to create and place a shortcode for your navigation menu exactly where you want it in your Elementor template. So the idea is, you still manage the styling of your menu in Generate Press's customizer, which provides a ton of styling options for the menu anyway. But this method just allows you to place that menu exactly where you want it in your custom header template. It's easy to do. It's just a plugin which was created by the marvellous Mr. Lyle Chamney from snifflevalve.com. You can grab the plugin and the instructions in the Generate Press Facebook group in the Files section. I'll pop a link in the description. Now, I'm not going to show you the exact steps for this in this video, or we'll just be here all day. I'll be making a lot more videos on using Generate Press specifically soon. But for now, it's a superb option for adding your menu to your custom template if you use Generate Press. And don't forget, I've put together a very simple checklist of all the stuff in this video to make life easier for you when you're making your own custom Elementor headers. You can grab your own copy at designbuildweb.co/custom header. Okay, well, you've designed a beautiful header. You're happy with any compromises you might have had to make versus using your theme's header features. So now we just need to replace your theme's header with your new custom Elementor header template. You've got three main options for handling this: using a plugin, using your theme, or using shortcodes and hooks. Well, let's take a look at the plugin method first. Now, the Header Footer Elementor plugin is really good. It allows you to create a template to replace your theme's header. It's really easy. And note, this doesn't work with OceanWP at the moment, but it does work with Generate Press, Genesis, the Beaver Builder theme, and Astra. And actually, OceanWP has got its own built-in solution for this anyway that I'll come to shortly. It handles the header schema markup nicely, and unlike the shortcodes method, you don't have to do anything else like disabling various parts of your header in the customizer. Just create the header, select that you want this to be the header, and it does everything for you. If you've already created your header as a template in your Elementor library, well, you can just insert it into the header template that you create within this plugin. No worries. A second option is if your theme already has a feature that allows you to replace its header with a template. OceanWP has got this feature built in. So in the customizer, in the header settings, you assign a page you've created as your header. Note that you've got to choose custom header from the style dropdown first. Note also that you have to create the header template as a standard page, not as an Elementor template. I'm told by Tom Osborne, who's Generate Press's developer, that a similar feature may be coming to Generate Press soon. A third way of adding your header to your site is to grab the template shortcode and then place it into your theme's header hook. That is, if your theme has a hooks feature. Themes that do have a hooks feature include Generate Press, OceanWP, and Genesis. Now, in my experience, this is the trickiest way that requires the most fiddling. Well, firstly, let's get the template shortcode. If you've got Elementor Pro, this is easy. Just go to Elementor, My Library, Copy the shortcode here. If you don't have the paid Pro version of Elementor, you can use the brilliant free Anywhere Elementor plugin instead. Then you need to paste the shortcode into your theme's header hook. Now, hooks are just preset places within the themes templates, and they're a way that your theme developer can allow you to add your own code in set places within the template, like the header area, without having to hack the code in the actual template files. It's really convenient. In GeneratePress, which is the theme I use, I find the best hook to add your header shortcode to is the before header content hook. This is the one that keeps the HTML5 and schema markup intact that I mentioned earlier, but you can experiment if you use a different theme. Using the shortcodes and hooks method, you'll also need to disable your theme's own header because you don't want that appearing as well. In GeneratePress, you can do this by hiding the site title and tagline in the customizer settings. And then also in layout, primary navigation, navigation location, you can set that to no navigation. You'll also have to set the header padding to 0. And you can do something similar in OceanWP as well. What you can't easily get rid of with this method is the site logo. I mean, certainly in GeneratePress, I don't think you can disable it like you can the site title and the navigation. You could remove the site-wide logo from the customizer, but then you wouldn't also be able to use the branding widget in the nav menu add-on plugin like we saw. You just have to use a normal image. That's not a huge deal. You lose a bit of HTML markup on the logo that I won't bother going into here. Or you can use CSS to hide the theme's logo. But the logo will still be in the source code, even though you can't actually see it. So as I say, the hooks and shortcode solution is the messiest, at least for headers. Brilliant for lots and lots of other things, but a bit messy for headers. And finally, just to say, you can go even deeper into much more advanced stuff with hooks and templates, with plugins like Anywhere Elementor Pro and GP Extender for GeneratePress, which are both well worth checking out if you've got more complex needs. So here's the finished header in place on a page. Now on this actual page itself, I've edited the page with Elementor. There's a simple Elementor section which has got a background image on it, and I'm also using GeneratePress's transparent page header functionality to slip the page content behind the header. Phew, right, that's it. That's how to create your own custom header with Elementor and replace your theme's own header with it. Hope you found that useful. Please leave me a comment below if you did or you've got any questions. Like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. To grab your free, up-to-date, simple Elementor header checklist, just pop over to my site designbuildweb.co/custom header and tell me where to send it. And I'll also keep you up to date with any future training, live webinars and things like that. Thanks very much for your time.